All right, time's up.
Wait, what?
I said time's up!
The SAT. The SAT, a test administered to millions of college applicants across the nation. Although many feel the SAT is an accurate measure of students' ability, some believe that it is inherently biased and flawed as a whole. During World War I, the first mass-administered IQ test, called the Army Alpha, was used to test the intelligence of recruits. In 1933, it was adapted to select candidates for a Harvard scholarship program by James Bryant Conant. By 1942, the SAT replaced all previous admissions tests and became the aptitude test for nearly all colleges across America to screen possible college students that were right for their school.
Today, it is a global test, and people all around the world take the SAT in efforts to place themselves above others with high scores in the highly competitive college selection process.
Our generation is the biggest generation of kids that the country has ever seen, seeing as we are the second baby boom generation of the United States, known as the boomerang generation. Because of this, SAT scores are even more important than ever with the competition for spots at universities. High school students prepare to take the SAT all over the country every year. But what does the SAT mean to them? To find out, we asked students from a variety of different high schools. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think the SAT is?
I'd give it a 9.
I'd say a good 8.
8.5. I think it depends on where you want to go to school and who you are, but for me, it's probably like a 7 or an
9.5.
8. Like a 3 or 4.
On an average, how much have you studied for the SAT?
I didn't study at all. About 40 minutes on a track bus.
All year. So, meeting the school, that's the first thing they really told us is that we have been preparing for the SATs. Most of the English and math was basically based on the SAT stuff.
I studied like that night, the night before it, and then the day of it. So not that much, but it's super easy.
Took a prep class and then I studied on my own.
Not a lot. I probably should have studied more.
Have you been stressed out over the SAT?
Not at all. Not until the day of. The day of, I kind of freaked out. I was like, snap, I'm not prepared.
Not overly stressed, but I was a little nervous about it.
Yes, I am.
Definitely. Yes, all year. I was waiting to get it over with.
Opinions and preparedness vary from student to student and school to school, and definitely have an impact on their overall scores. Now let's take a look at the correlation between student scores and cultural backgrounds from the past couple of years. These statistics demonstrate the point differences across the board between various ethnicities on the different sections of the test. Whites and Asians have outscored other races on the math portions. In fact, whites outscore all of the other races on the English and writing sections of the test. These trends, in the minds of some, prove that College Board has purposefully set up the SAT in the favor of white Americans. Even back when the SAT was first created and solely used for the purposes of Harvard admissions, there were accounts of racial bias. Then, and still now for some parts, much emphasis is put on sports, extracurriculars, personality, leadership, character, and such, as opposed to more specific intellectual criteria. Harvard and company had to find some way to limit the number of Jewish admits and, hence, began to use questions that Jewish people were more likely to get wrong than non-Jewish people.
Many people are still hesitant to believe that the SATs are not geared towards whites. But another factor that comes into play is economics. Lower income schools do not have the same resources or tools of education as higher income schools. In this case, the differences in SATs between races is not necessarily caused by flaws or biases of the SAT, but simply the difference in accessibility to knowledge. The makers of the SAT claim that it is an accurate depiction of a person's ability. Here, if someone was not exposed to knowledge, technically, their ability would be less strong than those who were exposed to it.
It's a barometer to help admissions officials make sense of the country's diverse educational landscape, from the highly regarded and perhaps grade-grubbing private schools to the rigorous and not-so-rigorous public schools.
On their website, College Board explains that the SAT test scores are not the only aspect that colleges look at when going through applications and selecting people to admit. Therefore, there are other qualifications that level the playing ground for applicants.
Accessibility to knowledge, such as prep courses, is another big issue when it comes to the SATs. There are numerous courses all over the country, online, in class, or text-based, just for the SAT preparation. With this in mind, the question then becomes, is this really an intelligence and aptitude test?
Or is this a test of how well a student can take a test?
The SAT mainly focuses on reading, mathematics, and writing. It does not test a student's ability in science, foreign language, art, or history. This is why College Board offers subject tests. The type of intelligence that the SAT tests for is known as G-factor intelligence or general intelligence. You either have it or you don't. On one hand, this can be viewed as accurately representing a student's ability in the sense that a high SAT score is great and it means that colleges will view you as prepared to enter. But on the other hand, can intelligence really just be viewed in that kind of light? Does a bad score on the SAT really mean that you're stupid?